Good Sunday evening, South Carolina weather watching on your meteorologist Peterson. I'm going to talk about the weather for your Sunday evening going into your future. And so, you may be thinking, okay, well, it's Sunday, right? It's Sunday. So, like, we're going to talk about this week, right? We're going to talk about this week. Well, not only do we talk about the week, but it's also the first day of the month, which means that we will go on and we will talk about the month forecast. We'll talk about the month forecast, and then we'll also, since it is March, the first day of spring. Yes, the first day of spring. Meaning that we're going to talk about the spring forecast as well. So we have a lot of stuff to go over tonight. It's going to be a big night tonight. I hope you got somebody. And because we're going to be getting ready to talk about before we get into that, what is on tap for tonight, besides the forecast of spring, the week forecast, the month forecast, we're going to talk about a warm and dry continuation as we go through tonight. Then we'll talk about a significant cooling with spring, significant cooling Monday and Tuesday via a CAD wedge. And then we'll talk about CAD erosion midweek Wednesday with rapid warm-up going into Wednesday, like later on Wednesday, and then especially Thursday. Summer-like warmth late week Thursday/Saturday with showers/thunderstorm chances. So yeah, summer-like warmth is on the way as we go into later this week. So let's go on and say, if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Right now we have around a good 6 people in here and 4 likes so far, so go on and hit the like button if you have not already. And also hit the subscribe button. We are at 712 trying to get to 800. We are 88 away from that main goal of 800 subscribers. And also go and hit the share button. Share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to, because it's free and you can change your mind at any time. So we're going to go on now and take a look at our live radar, see what is currently going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina and just the entire nation in general. First off, looking at it, precipitation not expected at this time. So, we're not having any sort of rainfall falling. But if we look at the entire U.S., we do in fact have some rainfall, some snowfall going on in Illinois, Missouri, going on inside of Arkansas, Oklahoma, parts of western Tennessee. You have some rainfall going on over here inside of North Carolina, and then some rainfall also in southern Florida. If you look over here inside the west, we have some rainfall in Oregon, northern California going on in Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, and even over here in Wyoming as well. Now, what about for our cloud cover? Cloud cover right now actually seems to be more of on the cloudier side. So I do think that we definitely do have more cloud cover than clear spots, but there are definitely a good amount of clear spots. In fact, a good amount of the PD and maybe even a little bit of the low country as well is included in that clear spot. If we go on and look at that cloud cover for the future, you can see that we do in fact have a good amount going on, but as you continue your way through tonight, that cloud cover continues to build. Remember, the blue is the cloud cover, the white is the non-cloud cover. This goes all the way through. We get into tomorrow morning. This is noon right here. We get to 1 o'clock p.m. And we definitely see a little bit of clearing going on over here inside of the low country as you go into like noon. But for the most part, it will most likely try to cover back up. And then you go back through the evening. You go into like the 9 o'clock p.m., 10 o'clock p.m., even 11 o'clock p.m. tomorrow night. And we are still, for the most part, mostly cloudy. Now, like I said, as we go throughout tomorrow, remember that we definitely will still have, some clear spots going on, especially in that low country area, southern Midland, coastal areas. But cloud cover will definitely still be there. You continue all the way through Tuesday. Here's Tuesday afternoon, going into Tuesday evening. Cloud cover really starting to kind of bring its way out of the state. You have some going on off the coast. You have some just moving up into the upstate. But there still is a good amount of cloud cover that now moves its way down towards the south and east, now kind of spreading apart from the upstate and to like the Midlands, that little clear spot there, and then a little bit of a clear spot again from the low country area. So just a lot of a lot of things going on. Cloud cover is just going to be all over the place as we go throughout the next 48 hours. All over the place. Let's go on and look at our current temperatures. Right now we have around a good 56 in Somerville, 54 in Charleston, as well as 55 in Beaufort, 54 Hilton Head Island, as well as a good 60 in Columbia and Orangeburg, 60 Aiken, and 59 in Sumter, 58 also inside of Lugoff, and 55 in Conway, 53 Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, as well as 55 in Georgetown, 59 Hartsville, Florence, 60 Lancaster, and 62 in Rock Hill, York, Gaffney, Greenville, Clemson, 61 in Anderson and Lawrence, 63 also inside of Spartanburg. Air quality as we go throughout tonight, for the most part, looks like most of us are inside of the moderate category. Yes, the moderate category. Upstates included, Midlands included, Low Countries included. Good amount of the PD area, maybe a little bit included in there as well. But for the most part, looks like almost all the Grand Strand, almost all the PD area, the Western Low Countries, those parts are still inside that good category, and even a little bit up there inside of the Rock Hill area, Chester, Lancaster areas. Those areas are still inside the good area, and so, not necessarily bad. The moderate area isn't really bad. It's just necessarily not the best. But it, doesn't mean you have to restrict your time outside or anything like that. Low temperatures for tonight, you have around a good 46 in Greenville, 45 in Spartanburg, as well as 44 in Rock Hill, 43 in Sharon, Dillon, as well as 45 in Florence, 47 Georgetown and Myrtle Beach, as well as a good 47 in Moncks Corner, 47 Walterboro, and 48 in Orangeburg and Aiken, 47 also inside of Barnwell, and 52 Hilton Head Island, 50 in Charleston, and 48 in Aiken and Columbia. High temperatures for tomorrow, you have around a good 51 in Greenville, 54 in Anderson, as well as 50 in Spartanburg, 49 in Rock Hill, as well as 50 in Girard, 53 in Dillon, and 54 in Florence, 54 Sumter, and 56 in Columbia, 58 inside of Orangeburg, and 60 in Aiken and Barnwell, and Moncks Corner, Charleston's included, 62 in Hilton Head Island, and 63 over there near Walterboro. Rainfall, for the most part, not expected. So no rainfall, no accumulable rainfall, let me add that. No accumulable precipitation is expected as we go throughout the next 24 hours. Does that mean that a little bit of rain can fall? It does, mean that a little bit of rainfall potentially could fall. But does it mean that any accumulable rainfall is going to fall? No. So you're not going to have to worry about for any accumulable precipitation 1/100 of an inch or more. Anything less than that, it's fair game still on this map. Still fair game. For the crazy score, we're at a 32. Why are we at a 32 for tonight? Well, for the most part, it's mainly because as we go throughout tonight, which that was yesterday's, that was tomorrow. This is tonight's. It says, for the most part, going to be a cloudy night tonight. That's going to be the main thing. Fog precautions. Yes, it will be a little bit foggy tonight. Again, upstate valleys, Piedmont areas, Midland areas, coastal plain areas. Just almost a lot of areas. Patchy fog may develop late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Possible brief visibility reduction on rural roads or bridges/overpasses. For the most part, use low beams if driving early. Fog dissipates quickly with sunrise. So, for the most part, looks like that we are going to be having another foggy morning by the time you get into tomorrow. So make sure that you are paying attention for that if you are going out early. I don't think it's going to be as bad as it was this morning, because this morning I was out as well. I think it was around like 7:15 in the morning. Couldn't see that far out in front. Could not see that far out. And the amount of people, I talk about this every time because it is very serious. And I have no idea why people keep doing this. They keep on going out and driving with no headlights on, and it's foggy outside. I will never understand why people do that. But if you forget, that's one thing. But another thing that should be telling you can't see anything. So make sure that when you go out, whether it be tomorrow morning or any morning in the future, that you have your lights on when it is foggy outside. Very, very important, and you could cause an accident if you do that. So make sure that you do that, for sure. Now, in terms of the SPC outlook, no thunderstorms are expected for tonight, so we're good there. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we are good. We are good in terms of thunderstorm activity. Fire weather, nothing here. Excessive rainfall, nothing here. So we are all good here as well. So let's go in and look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you go on and pay attention to that because that is very important to do so. So you can keep track of the time. You go on and push this forward, and we go all the way through into tomorrow morning here at 4 a.m. and we are dry. We go all the way through. Here's 11 o'clock in the morning, still dry. You go into 6 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. You see like a little drizzle going on, but no accumulation, really. And then once we get to around 7 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night, look at this. We're starting to see some rainfall potentially going on, especially up there inside parts of the upstate, maybe the northern PD areas by the time you get to tomorrow at around 7 to 8 o'clock p.m. So we're looking out for that. Still looking for maybe some isolated drizzle activity in the low country, the southern Midland areas as well. And then really starting to see that rainfall ramp up, I should say, as we go all the way to 9 to 10 o'clock p.m. tomorrow night when I'm going live. So, we'll see that continuing as we go throughout the upstate tomorrow night. That continues all the way through 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and then it dries off for a lot once we get into Monday night going into Tuesday morning. We go to Tuesday afternoon, and, we still see some drizzles here and there potentially as we go into Tuesday, but nothing too serious that I'm really saying you need to bring the rain gear out for, or anything like that. But what about if we continue even further in the future? We're going to start off here at the 54-hour mark, and if we just go in and push this forward, we stay dry all the way throughout until you get to around Thursday. Here's 10 o'clock in the morning right here. Things start to happen, but not too bad. It's not really till we get to the afternoon time on Thursday where we start to see some rainfall activity really starting to get going and some thunderstorm activity as well. Remember, rainfall activity and thunderstorm activity is possible as we go into Thursday. Now, we continue through Thursday evening, going into Friday. This is right here, Friday, 10 o'clock p.m. I mean, we went through all the way from Friday afternoon through Friday evening, maybe even Friday night, with rainfall activity. Even you continue your way forward, it goes away. Almost acting like a summer type setup to where, during the day, that's when the rainfall, that's when you start to see those pop-up showers, storms start to go on during the daytime during the summer. And then once you get into like the evening, the nighttime hours, that's when it all goes away. And then it restarts the next day. So that's just what we're looking at almost as we get into Thursday and Friday of this week. Now, if we continue through all the way Saturday going into Sunday, more rainfall. More rainfall definitely possible as you go into this weekend, mainly confined to the upstate. I think the upstate definitely was going to get the majority of it if we go into this weekend and we get rainfall, but definitely more rainfall is possible as we continue into the week after next week, that being Monday, March the 9th. And that could potentially bring some colder air with it. I mean, it's just Tuesday right here going into Wednesday, maybe even Thursday. I mean, we just have a cold front moving through, and maybe with some potential severe weather, but, it's a big ways away out from right now, so things will still change. But for right now, definitely still watching out for a cold blast to move through as we get into the middle parts of March, and maybe even a little bit of a severe weather threat as that's been showing up. But for this week in general, because we are talking about the week forecast, I mean, it looks good, as we get through like the next 3 days or so. Yes, maybe the chance for some rainfall tomorrow evening, but I mean, for the most part, mostly dry, especially as you go into Tuesday, Wednesday. It's not really until we get to around Thursday to where that rainfall really starts to become prominent. So we were speaking of this week in terms of precipitation. What about temperatures? Well, if we go on and start off, temperatures mainly being above average as we begin the week. Now, we will have a bit of a cold air blast that may try to move through due to that CAD influence, that cold air damming influence as we get into like tomorrow. I mean, as early as tomorrow, we're going to be, below average. But for the most part, it's mainly staying near just average as we go into Monday, going into Tuesday. not above average, but not too far below average. Definitely not too far below average as we continue through Tuesday, and then Wednesday comes along, and as we go more and more and more and more into Thursday and Friday and into Saturday, you start to see warmer air definitely starting to take shape. So let's go on now and see what is going on throughout this week in terms of our anomalies. So we're going to look at it right here. And as we start off into week 1, which is this week. We will have an above average temperature week. So even with that cold air damming influence as we go into parts of Monday and Tuesday, we are still going to be above average in terms of temperatures this week. And so what this does is it takes the temperatures throughout the entire week and it just brings it on an average. Just brings it on an average of what we would potentially see. And then if we go on and look at the precipitation instead, precipitation actually looks like that we will be below average. So not good for the drought. Definitely not good. Especially since everybody right now is inside of a drought right now. Below average precipitation, above average temperatures. Something that we definitely do not want to see if we want this drought to get out of here. So I think for the most part, it does make sense as of why. If we go on and look at the forecast for the next 7 days and see how much rainfall we're going to get over the next 7 days, you're going to look at it, and for a lot of areas, it's definitely not much. For a lot of areas, it's definitely not much at all. We're looking at the next 7 days, and some areas, like parts of downtown Charleston, may not see any accumulable rainfall. 1/10 of an inch only throughout a good amount of the Midlands, maybe even 2/10 only throughout like the Greenville area, maybe throughout the Anderson area as well, only 1/10 of an inch over there inside of Florence. So, this is not the rainfall that you want to see as we go throughout this week. We definitely want to see a lot more than this. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say there in terms of the week. It's going to be, for this week, for the most part, it's just going to be a week that we're just going to have to hope for as much rainfall as we can get, but I know definitely for warm weather fans that definitely will be, it will be definitely very good week for the warm weather fans, especially because as you get later and later into the week, we're going to see 80s, like for example on Thursday, which I can even go in and pull that up real quick before we talk about the month forecast. But, you go into Wednesday, you have high temperatures up into the 70s for the most part. You go into Thursday, high temperatures up into the 80s. Friday, guess what? Back up into the 80s. And, not only just for like maybe the low country or the PD areas, but all the way up into potentially parts of the upstate. We're getting up into the 80s as we go into this weekend. So it's going to be a very warm and nice week. But unfortunately, we definitely need to see some rainfall out of it. So now let's go on and check out the month forecast. Remember, I don't do too much with the month forecast just because, it's over a month span. But if we go on and look at it, this is the month temperature outlook for the month of March. And so it looks like that in terms of temperatures, we will be above average. We will be above average in terms of temperatures this month. So an above average temperature March is here. That's, making our departure from winter definitely a lot sooner. Definitely a lot sooner than it may be during some time. So during some years and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with this. But an above average March is in store, and not only temperatures, but if we look at precipitation, looks like that we are just mainly near normal, maybe a little bit below average on the low country coast, but precipitation wise, we are just near average. And so that almost looks like what the week forecast is. But instead of it being too below average. It's mainly just near average. So above average temperature March, near normal precipitation March. And then if we go on and look at the seasonal temperature outlooks, this is for spring. This is the official spring forecast right here for the months of March, April, and May of 2026. We will have an above average spring in terms of temperatures. We will have an above average temperature spring. And then if you go into precipitation, seems like a near normal precipitation spring as well. So I know that's a lot of things to go on and take in, so I'll just go ahead and replay it all. For March temperatures, we're going to be above average. For March precipitation, we will be near normal. For spring, we will be above average in terms of temperatures, and then in terms of spring precipitation, we will be near normal as well. So there's the official forecast right there. There goes everything that you wanted to see here tonight for the most part. And so, what does this mean for the future? Well, this does, since severe weather season is starting up, starts in spring, above average temperatures, near normal precipitation. We may see this thing starting as early as mid-March, as I said. We're already seeing cold fronts potentially trying to move their way through, and full-on systems trying to start as early as March. And when I say March, I mean like the next, 10 or 15 days or so in March. So a lot of things are happening. We will continue to go on and monitor this. But I think that's about all I have to say here. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say here for tonight. So starting off with, let me see who was here first tonight. I have the poll inside the top, so I'm going to have to get that out the way. Mr. Chris was here first. He says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. My Aunt Lewis says, good evening, everyone. I pray that you all had a wonderful day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Mr. Chris says, hope everyone had a great day. I did. And then continuing our way down, Mr. Chris says, it was very nice here in Moncks Corner today. Got to around 74 degrees. Well, right now, currently at my house, it's around 55 degrees. And my high temperature for today was around a good 73 on the dot. 73 on the dot. My Nan says, hello, Jay, a nice day. Glad to hear that. And then continue our way down. My Aunt Lewis says, today, Georgetown was beautiful. Mr. Chris says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. He is absolutely correct. Right now, we have around a good 18 people watching and only 7 likes. If you are a part of the group of 11 that have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. It's free and you can change your mind at any time. Maya Lewis says today our high was 72, currently it's 55, and enjoyed every bit of our warm day. Mr. Chris says currently it's 57. Maya Lewis says not looking forward to that cold front coming, but I will enjoy what we have now. Absolutely. Let's just get through, Monday and Tuesday, and then once we get through Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be up in the 80s, and it's just going to be nice. For the most part, temperature-wise, it's going to be nice. Precipitation-wise, showers and thunderstorms. But at least it's warm. Continue our way down. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. Milo says, is winter really gone? Well, we're out of the winter season. We obviously have meteorological spring started today, and then astronomical spring obviously starts March the 20th. So, but, obviously that's when we go on and celebrate the start of spring, which is today. I don't, start spring really on the March the 20th astronomical spring day. But continue our way down. Miss Chris says, didn't really enjoy that fog this morning. Milo says, Georgetown had a good bit of fog as well. Thad says, good evening, Joseph and the 360 Weather family. I trust all is well with everyone. All is well with me. It was a beautiful day all day today. I spent some time putting together a few raised vegetable beds and planted some eggplants, bell peppers, and cucumbers. The temperatures were in the mid to high 80s with a beautiful breeze. I will be going out in the morning to plant some jalapenos and serrano peppers. Well, that's great to hear. Glad that you are getting some gardening done, especially with these nice conditions that you have. And then my Aunt Lewis is driving without low beam lights in the fog is an accident waiting to happen. Absolutely. I think I counted about, well, I didn't count, but if I just, replay it back in my mind, at least a good 25, 30 people that I passed in about a 40-minute drive or so, and it was on rural roads. It was not on the highway, wasn't on anything like that. Couldn't even see the highway from on the overpass bridge that we were on. But just on a rural road, it was around like a good 25, 30 people I saw without lights on this morning, dude. And even though it was very foggy outside, dense fog, not just like some small inconvenience fog, like dense fog. But let's go in and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations, what am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 4 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go in and give them their forecast for them. Starting off with San Antonio first, you have low temperatures tonight at around 64, high temperatures tomorrow at around 84, low temperatures tomorrow night at 64. Precipitation, not expected. In terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, and usually we can clear it for everybody, so we're going to see if that's the case today. Looks like we can't clear it for today for 1 location. We'll go in and talk about that. But for San Antonio, we can clear you for sure. You have no risk of any sort of severe weather or any sort of excessive rainfall. So what is the issue with your future? Well, looks like for the most part that you will be continuing to get hot. In fact, you'll get up to 88 on Tuesday, 86 on Wednesday, 88 Thursday, and then there also will be a bit of a rain chance. Tuesday night, 20%, Wednesday, 50%, So you will continue to kind of see like a midweek rain chance, but it will just stay up into the 80s. You will cool down a little bit as you go into this weekend, so pretty nice cool down. 80 Saturday, 75 on Sunday. So definitely nice as you go throughout like this weekend. But unfortunately, showers and possibly even a thunderstorm definitely is as you go into this weekend, and maybe even some heavy rainfall already. They're already saying rain could already be heavy at times as you go into next week Sunday. So the fact that they're that confident means that you may have a big system trying to move in as you go into the next weekend. But now, what about for Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight around 40, high temperatures tomorrow at around 44, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 57. I thought I changed that, but apparently I didn't. So there you go. It's changed now. So for the most part, it looks like showers are possible. Slight chance of showers tonight, and then chance of rainfall tomorrow and tomorrow night as well. In terms of severe weather, excessive rainfall, you're good, so you don't have anything to really watch for there. But in terms of your future, looks like for the most part that you are going to continue to warm up as you go into like this week right here. You're going to continue to warm up. 74 Wednesday, 77 on Thursday, 79 on Friday, Saturday, 79 as well. And then even as you go all the way into like the midweek portion, that's when you're going to really dry off. That's when you're really going to go on and dry off. It will be a little bit breezy tonight though, and next weekend you may also have another rain chance as well. Then for Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at around 22, high temperatures tomorrow at around 35, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 27. There is a chance of snow tomorrow night, and then as you go into Tuesday, there is definitely going to be a wintry mix, so rain, snow, and freezing rain. Now, it will turn back to all rain by the time you get to around 10 o'clock-ish or so, but definitely a wintry mix as you go through Monday night going into Tuesday. Now, in terms of your future, because you have no severe weather, but in terms of your future, it looks like for the most part that you are going to continue to warm up. Thursday, you're going to be up to 66, and then maybe even 68 on Saturday. So you will be warming up. You will be warming up as you go into Tuesday. And it seems like a good amount of us will be, especially over here on the east. Raleigh, Philadelphia. And that's just because all of that warm air that comes in after that cold air damming setup takes place. And so you have all that rainfall as you go all the way through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as well. So it's going to be a rainy week for you. And speaking of a rainy week, Duncan, Oklahoma being probably one of the worst, with low temperatures tonight at around 46, high temperatures tomorrow at around 65, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 57. Showers are expected tonight, and then a slight chance of showers tomorrow. Precipitation not expected for tomorrow night. You will continue to warm up, but the main thing for you is definitely going to be that rainfall risk. Tuesday, 20% chance of showers. Wednesday, 50% chance of showers. Thursday, 50% chance of showers. Friday, 80%. Saturday, 50%. Sunday, 30%. So it will continue to go on in rain. Now, some of those may even be a bit on the thunderstorm side, especially as you get into Wednesday and Friday, where you have two risk of severe weather. You have a day 4 risk of severe weather and a day 6 risk of severe weather already. Wednesday, this is the one that they took you out of, but now you're like right on the border of right now. So I honestly think that you, even if you're not in the slight risk, you're definitely going to be in the marginal risk. So that's for Wednesday. Make sure that you're paying attention for severe weather there. And then on Friday, March the 6th, 2026, you have another slight risk of severe weather. And so here we go. We're starting out that severe weather train already. I was talking about it during the spring forecast. I said severe weather season is starting, and we're already seeing it coming back with more severe weather going on for portions of Texas, Oklahoma, up into Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas already. So that stuff is just getting started. And speaking of other parts of the U.S., what's going on throughout all of the U.S. That includes South Carolina, that includes the 4 areas that we just talked about, and everywhere else. And so a large high-pressure system will usher in cold air for the first day of March across the northern plains, the Great Lakes, the Northeast, and the Mid-Atlantic. Some wintry precipitation may evolve across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and the Mid-Atlantic through Monday. Meanwhile, record warmth will spread across the Southwest, Southern Plains through early this week. We also will talk about some potential winter weather all the way from northeastern Kansas through southeastern Nebraska, northern Missouri, as well as parts of southern Ohio and Indiana, and even parts of West Virginia. Some cold weather advisories up there for northern New York, northern Maine, as well as they're going to be in the negatives for lows for tonight. And I think for the most part, that is about it. I don't see anything else too crazy. Dense fog advisories out there for the coast of South Carolina. Good amount of Georgia is included in there. The coast of Florida as well, especially over there near like the northern coast near Jacksonville. But I think that's about all that I can see here. Let me see, what else do I see here? Charles says, beautiful day here. Glad to hear that. And so that's all that I can see. So make sure if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Also make sure you go and hit the subscribe button. Right now, we are at 712, trying to get to that main goal of 800 subscribers. Right now, we're around 88 away from that main goal. Top fans of the night for tonight, back and forth competition again for Mr. Chris and my Aunt Lula. But, if I am not mistaken, just making sure real quick, because I think 8, 9, yep. My Aunt Lula is at number 1 for tonight. Mr. Chris is at number 2. And then Thad is at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Also, being here early, being active as well, because if you're not active, you won't be at the top. And if you're not here early, you potentially may lose your chance at being at the top. We've had that happen before, to where we've had a tie, and, whoever was earliest, they got the top spot. So all of that matters. I don't see anything else for me inside the chat. I asked inside the poll, are you happy that spring is here and winter is gone? 100% says yes, 0% says no. So I think everybody's done with winter at this point, and I am too. I am with the 100%. And so that's all that I have to say Make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning for your Monday morning forecast update. Also for your Monday evening forecast update, that will be tomorrow 9 o'clock p.m. Make sure that you're there for that. And hopefully everyone has a fantastic rest of your Sunday evening, and hopefully we all have a great start to the work week this week. Make sure you hit those 2 buttons before you leave if you're new.